So, I'm super proud to be the moderator of this session now. It's a cross-industry expertise from ISPO together with IFAT. My name is Kim Scholze. I'm part of the outdoor industry for a while. I love speaking. This is why I'm allowed to moderate today. I'm a moderator, a keynote speaker. I love connecting, I stand for corporations. I'm also running Sympatex with the teams. So I feel honored, but also, of course, I need to be here. So the questions towards circularity and the full topic is our thing here today, and this is why Lena Haushofer from ISPO and Philipp Eisenmann from IFAT explain us why it's so important to have cross-industry formats like this. I will start with you, Lena, not only welcoming you on stage as an intro for our panel, which will follow, but also introducing us the idea of cross-functional sessions and programs. This is it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the first cross-industry sessions we had. We launched it at Outdoor by ISPO last year. So it's, like the follow-up. And today's topic is textile recycling, a compelling challenge. So that's what we are talking about. And textile recycling cannot be managed by one company or one institution or one industry. It's a matter of systems, of network, and collaboration across many, many different actors. And ISPO Munich and IFAT Munich connects experts from recycling and the sports industry and dives into the topic of circularity and challenges. And today we are hosting a whole cross-industry session dealing with the topic of circularity and textile sector.
And before we hand over to you, Philipp, the Sustainability Hub here and all the topics around circularity, is there something to introduce for our listeners? Is that like, I think you're super proud of what happened. Is there anything you want to add to that?
You mean to the Sustainability Hub here, yes, or to the program?
Yeah.
Well, I'm super happy that we set up like a cross-industry sessions like this, and that many people of you from the cross-industry, from IFAT Munich, from Circulase, from the ISPO Munich sports industry is here, because it's a really hot topic, and we need this platform to discuss about. So really happy that you all came and listened to the session. And we will start with the panel discussion, where I'd like to welcome Ruth Oberrauch from Oberalp, which is the Vicepresident from the Oberalp group. Welcome. Thank you. And we also have Nicole Kösig, which is Management Consultant, Solution for Business. Welcome.
It's getting crowded.
And we have Marc Schubert, who is COO and Deputy Chief Executive Officer from Looper Textile. Welcome on stage. And of course, you, Kim, you're standing next to me already, CMO of Sympatex, and you're the moderator today.
Yes, and maybe adding what you were saying, and this is why I asked you, the complete world of ISPO and everything which is cross-industry is so super energizing for all the cross solutions. So, handing over the word to you, Philipp, because you want to introduce the program.
Yes, thank you very much, because first of all, thank you again that you are again hosting us. Thank you to Lena and ISPO that we can be partner again here and being your guests here, because, we are also super proud. I mean, see all the people, and because everybody is very interested in circular economy, and I think this is the session about, because as Lena already mentioned it, circular economy is not a topic for only one industry. I think the sport industry will not solve the problem alone, and of course the environmental area and industry will not solve the problem by themselves, and this is what we are trying. We're trying to build bridges, we're trying to really have and showing solutions, that we have solutions out there, and at the end it's a process, and it's always about discussion between the two areas, the two industries, and really want to focus with our cross-industry session on specific topics, and really showing that it's not a dream or a vision, so that we are really solutions out there. And yeah, and I mean the feedback now we can see is fantastic. We have a fantastic panel, and of course more over the day.
Let's see how good we are.
Yeah, no pressure, but I'm
No
sure.
pressure?
I'm sure. I mean, the setup is fantastic.
And there was also the information to me and the task to me to ask you what's happening after this panel.
Absolutely, because we will start with a panel, but then also we'll have a tour after it and really see what's happening here. We will go to a material lab. We will go to established companies to seeing, okay, what are their solution. But we will see also new companies and new solution, and we will guide this by a tour. And of course, last but not least, we have to be a network. We need dinner. We need drinks to connect and to see how we can create more ideas. And I think, let's start into this fantastic first session and have a fantastic afternoon.
So the closing I got was, we all need to remember the name Natasha. When the name Natasha is said, this is the end of the panel, so please remind me of Natasha whenever it happens if I forget. Thank you both. Thank you for introducing. I hope we do a lot of sessions together with IFAT and ISPO. Thanks for hosting us, and leave stage, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, yes, that would be nice, Nicole. Ruth, yeah, and you at the side. Introducing the guests. When IFAT called and asked me if if I will be moderating this, it was like not only the super honor, but also, okay, this is a huge universe of expertise. And the universe of expertise always starts with getting aside from what the technology, from the job, from everything, we do a personal intro, because the personal intro always allows us to listen on a different level. So let us know, Nicole, who are you, what makes you tick, and what is your energy about?
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm glad to be here. Yeah, my name is Nicole. I'm 53 years old and living in Hamburg since 10 years. Was born in a very small country or a town in south of Germany, and I love to be in Hamburg. It's a great city, and there are so many opportunities also. Go to concerts, to hear music. Unfortunately, it's quite far away from the mountains because I also love skiing, and that's a bit of pity.
Thank you so much. Ruth, your name is known for feels like centuries. It's not Ruth itself, but Oberrauch. And being apart from that, tell us something about your personality, Ruth Oberrauch.
Well, different from Nicole, I'm from the mountains. I grew up in Bolzano, south part of Italy, surrounded by the beautiful Dolomites. That's where I'm from, and that's also where my passion is belonging to. I love ski touring, I love climbing, I love trekking. So free time I like to spend in the mountains, but mountains are also related to my business, as Oberalp is connected to mountains 100%, and we have different brands in the mountain sector. So mountains is a lot about me.
So, and you?
I'm Marc. I'm 32. I live in Essen in Germany together with my girlfriend and my dog, which is also kind of my biggest hobby, which is why I also like the mountains. But Essen is a bit far from the mountains. And last week I was the first time skiing, so also a good connection there. I think I studied philosophy, which is kind of weird with my business.
Just wanted to add that one.
It's always important. So that's me.
So, Marc, your role is COO and Deputy Chief Executive Officer. Remind that one for the business perspective. Ruth, Vice President and Board Member of Oberalp. And Nicole, Management Consultant. So for the next question, it is combining, please, your role, what do you do for life, and also what does recycling correspond to that. We will start with you, Marc.
Okay, so I've been working with the Remondis Group for over 10 years now, 7 of that in the recycling business unit. So we do a lot of glass and plastics recycling.
As a moderator, I'm always allowed to interrupt.
Oh,
so
sorry.
please let all our international visitors know what Remondis is.
Exactly.
Okay, Remondis is a big waste management company. I think the second largest in Europe and the biggest family-owned waste management company in the world. We do all kinds of stuff from metal recycling, water processing, collection. I think every material there is, we kind of process, collect in some way. And textile is one of the newest, and I think not only the most complex, but also the most exciting with the most opportunities. And within the business unit I worked for now for 7 years. I became the managing director 2 years ago. And then about a year ago, we founded Lupa, textile company, which is a joint venture of Remondis and the H&M Group, to combine all the knowledge we have from Remondis about collection, material streams, recycling, with the production garment knowledge of H&M. So Lupa is the idea to combine all knowledge we need to create more circularity for textiles.
Thank you. Ruth.
Well, as said, Oberalp is a house of brands with 6 mountain sport brands, and sustainability is a topic in our company for many, many, many years. But especially over the last years, we deep dived much more into the topic of circularity, as I guess all of you did and do. We were very busy also over the last years in training our internal teams. We did a lot of workshops to discuss with our design and product development teams how we need to build products, and was a great experience because there was a lot of involvement and a lot of excitement, but at the same time also many, many, many question marks. So it's also very interesting for me to be here today with 2 absolute experts in this field. As I may be coming more from the practical side, it's super, super interesting to be here today. And well, beside my role as Vicepresident of Oberalp, I'm also taking care about our sustainability team in the group. And I'm also brand manager of one of the brands of Oberalp Group. And that's one of Lamont is one brand where we really try to find very practical solutions. And, well, maybe I have also the chance to share some experience later.
Especially if it comes to the point of eco-design, which is like part of your expertise, Nicole.
I'm working within the recycling industry then more than 20 years. Before I became self-employed, I worked in various management positions dealing with packaging and textile waste. And when I look back 20 years before, it was how to manage waste in an efficient way. And when we today see waste as a resource, it's really a great journey also to raise also the question of find solutions, how to keep products and materials in the loop as long as possible. And that's what drives me forward, really to be part of the change and to share my knowledge and expertise in that. And so it's nice to be here.
Thank you, all 3. So at the end of the session, we will have a Q&A. If there is anything you want to interrupt because they're super, super important, please do, because more activation is better than none. We start with the next question with you, Nicole, because your expertise on framework and on innovations came from your former jobs. Before, you were a management consultant, which is like 5 years now, as you said. Right. And in our prep calls, it was a super energizing discussion, and I want you to go back to this. We met digital, so blend them out. Stay here. The frameworks and the institutions. You have a very, very clear perspective on that, and this is why you are a management consultant. Bring us into where are we now and what are the most important milestones for this year in 2023?
As said before, collaboration of the different actors is key to create circular economy. No one can do it alone, no single company, no single actor group, and therefore a framework is needed that everybody is in the cycle. And when we see all these new solutions are rising, new technologies are there, but there needs a push that really it comes on the market on a scalability, and therefore it's a level playing field that is needed. And of course, everybody knows that legislation is sometimes quite complex. It's administrative effort, but you can also then, if it's designed well within an extended producer responsibility concept, the industry can be directed into a circular economy, and I think that's very important. And also, when it comes to investments, it's a kind of security that if you invest in new technology, in your business models, that you have also the security that...
So don't take away the last question, please.
Sorry.
Because in our prep calls, we had the discussion on new business models. Where do we need to go? But before we head to that one, please... be concrete as possible on your thesis you recently published.
Yeah.
Bring them in.
So for the German market, I think everybody's aware about that on European level, an EPR system, Extended Producer Responsibility Framework, is under discussion and also in the member states. And for the German market, there was a study commissioned by the Environmental Agency dealing with the best model around extended producer responsibility for textiles, and I was glad that I was part of the experts that assess different models and proposed or gave recommendation how a model of textiles in Germany could look like.
And you are always willing to share, as you said. This is like open to everybody as a white paper. And if we see the complexity and the expertise, so both holistic and having us here on stage, Marc, for hearing what you said, Nicole, on frameworks, it's already closer to concrete measures with Looper, with Remondis, everything you work on a daily basis. Take the holistic thing and bring it down to what can we learn from you?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to creating value in the whole circle. So for a circle, you need all parts linked together, work together. So we need the whole supply chain, from design for recycling to collection, sorting, then actual recycling, the technology, and then using the fibers again for production. But that will mean that all of these steps need to change, everyone. The production needs to change, the sorting needs to change, the collection needs to change. The recycling is not even there yet, so technology is coming up, and then the spinners need to change to actually use recycled fibers. And to get that transformation moving, I completely agree with Nicole, we need the legislation framework, because at the moment I think sustainable retailers are getting punished. And you can look at the French EPR scheme, for example, where you have to pay a certain amount of money per ton. So everyone who produces or sells garments needs to pay the same amount, which is very unfair for people or companies who sell pure cotton, for example. Because the environmental impact and also the cost on collecting, sorting, recycling cotton is way, way lower than someone who sells blended fibers.
And just to make sure that everybody listens on the right ear, this is already in place.
Sorry?
This is already in place.
The French EPR scheme is already in place. I hope they change, but...
Who knows? From all of you listening, who knows? Elisabeth knows? Good. Who else? 2. Alexa. Okay. Crazy. Should we maybe explain it a little more so that everybody knows where to look from? Like 4 to 10 sentences again.
In France, it works like this. If you sell textiles, you have to pay €10 per ton as a retailer. You put it in a system, and from this system, collectors and sorters get subsidized. But in the end, it makes no sense, because a good company who sells a lot of sustainable, high-quality textiles has completely different costs that they put on a collection and sorting scheme. So in my opinion, it needs to be linked to the, let's say, the materials you use for production, and that could also be an incentive for companies to do the right thing, because they have to pay less later on for the collection and recycling. And the next big problem I see is every country doing their own EPR scheme, and then you have French retailers who have an advantage over German retailers, but in Poland it's completely different again. And textile is at least a European-wide, if not a worldwide business. So having like fractured legislation in each country just makes no sense.
We come back to that one because this is how you practice. There was one question I was asking you because, of course, living in Germany, working here, Remondis is like Remondis. If not you, then who? And that was the question. If you're not you, who is collecting who's what, and who's like differentiating in all the systems? So if not you, then who?
good question. That's why we are trying to do it now. But as I said, textiles is unbelievably complex. I mean, we come from glass, paper, even plastics, which is already complicated because of different types of plastics. You have layers. But textiles, I think, 10 times worse. So there is a lot to do. And the textile or used textile industry is not new. It's companies collecting used textiles for over 100 years. And they're sorting at the moment, but selling mostly to export countries, a lot to Africa. So the market in the past didn't have a lot of intention from retailers, from politics. No one cared. It was kind of working in the background. And it's a very complex, complicated business. But yeah, of course, it needs to have one or many big companies taking exactly this action we try to do now.
This is then, as said before, the next question if it comes to innovations in the future, but seeing now status quo and seeing again the range of panelists, the range of information and the range of expertise, seeing you with all the framework background, seeing you having business models in place and starting in new innovations, and Ruth, the practice. Let us be part of your status quo for the Oberalp group, please.
Well, for us, it's really, first of all, catching up with all the information that are out right now. It's not easy. So I think that's also something very important where also your help is needed, because today it's, as you said, very complex. That's I think the most important thing. Then obviously our responsibility is we design, we develop, we make sure products are produced. So obviously we need to start to think how to do that, or we do it, but we need to do even more. And things are changing so fast that it's very much a challenge to be aligned. If I think also, well, we speak about monomaterial to make them recyclable, then you see that now also combinations of materials are becoming more and more recyclable. So it's very exciting to see what is going on in the industry, but it is really a challenge to keep up to date also in what is possible. I think our first important challenge is to build products that are built to last. So quality is really, I think, our first big challenge, because it doesn't make sense if a product is perfectly recyclable, but it does not last long. So that's always our first challenge. We need to build products that last. That's our credo and what we focus first. Then we need to make sure we build products that can be repaired as much as possible, to make the product life even longer. And we are having interesting experience in that we just opened, for example, in our flagship store of Saleva in Bolzano, a whole circular experience where we rent material, we make sure people can bring their damaged garment, and we make sure we repair the product as much as possible. But we also take products back and resell these products again, so we call it second life, because we want to make sure products that are not used maybe by you anymore can be used by somebody else. So making the product last is the most important thing. And quality, obviously, is first the most important thing in that. But then I agree, waste management, and that's the topic we are speaking today, is an important part of this whole cycle as well. And well, we are doing different things also there. It's maybe not yet a full concept, but we are trying to find our solutions.
And for solution-driven thinking, you as an innovator, which is proven by Lamont.
Yes.
Yes. It is proven by the different structure you have in the Oberrauch group now. There is already a project in place. So again, reminding all of us, holistic vision, thesis, influence in political involvements, which we come to, but you already have a program in place with the beginning.
Yes.
So please introduce us.
We actually have several, but I'm particularly proud about one project, so happy to share that. With Oberalp Group, we bought 2 years ago a small production facility in Germany, producing velour fabric that we need for the production of Pomokas keytouring skins. So Oberalp has also this Swiss-based brand called Pomoka that is producing skins for your ski touring skis. And when I was visiting this small production in Germany, I'm amazed and a little bit irritated at the same way by the amount of waste that is coming out simply to this production process. They had like a whole room with waste. And
you said you carried it home by yourself.
Yes, I was.
Which then again shows the problem of what we have, carrying it home by yourself.
I was trying to engage with the team there, asking what they're really doing. And they say, well, we tried with the producer of mattresses to see if they can use it for the filling, but there was not really a solution for that. So yes, I really took a little bit of this waste back to Italy. I discussed it with the team and asked them for more material. So the second 3 big boxes of material were shipped. And I contacted a partner of us, Sympatex, that is a company in Italy that has really specialized on recycling materials mechanically and on insulation. So together with Sympatex, we really tried to find a solution how we can use this material. We started, I have to say, with the idea of using one part of this waste, and we ended up in using a completely different part. But what we have been able to this process is that now we take our own waste from Oberalp Group production and we turned it into an insulation material for jackets. So basically what's in this vest, it's a padding of, we call it Remoka, because we reuse, we recycle waste from our Pomoka skins. So that was, one very interesting exercise for us to.
So, and then if you combine this, what we heard, and now Nicole, please frame this for us as a frameworker, because the one thing is, what a good idea. Wonderful. Brilliant. Super nice. But
you need partners.
Yeah, and how is that scalable? So, please introduce us again back, or not introduce us, but bring us back into the holistic view where everybody of us needs to have the right influence to make sure that this is scalable. Because this is a good one and a move to make sure that something happens. But, sorry, it's your turn. Please. Yours.
As I said before, I assume everybody right now is thinking about how to change products, materials, what are better alternatives. But at the end, it's only one part you can fulfill. We need all kind of steps. And when you start to change something, the other party also will have an impact on that. And this kind of collaboration on a big scale, there is framework needed. Standardization is needed to have a common understanding, a same language in terms of recyclability, durability, what does it mean, and also when it comes to circular business models. And you have a wonderful example. You started not to see how you can make the best thing out of the waste. You try to avoid waste, so prevention of waste is the best way. So meaning reuse as long as possible or repair. And all these new business models needs a framework.
And before we come to future and business models, please share the most important things of the thesis, because it was, I don't know how often the word EU regulations and eco-design was part of your intro when we started our conversation. So please share your knowledge.
Yeah, and of course, when you put products on the market that will have at the end of a life management impact in that, producers or importers who put sustainable material or products on the market should have a benefit, and that comes to eco-design. So in the future, also when we talk about EPR, extended producer responsibility fees, as Marc said before, you should get a bonus on that based on eco-modulation. That means durable products should be supported by those schemes, or repairable products, for example, or at the end also when products are recyclable.
Last question on that. See this one, because you shared it with us and it's really interesting. So please, if you take your time to listen here, please also check this one out, even if it's in German. Take somebody else who tells you what it is about. What can you tell us to do out of what you experienced on a thesis way? Next question, be prepared, Marc. Practical solutions. But for you, please share what you shared in the prep call. You should.
I forgot what I shared. But I think what I can really say to you, rethink and start assessing your products, what you put on the market. And also with regards to the business models, it's not only to have the most sustainable material, it's also about how consumer in the future shall use your product. What's about the use stage when it comes to reuse again, other new business models. And that's also a way where you need collaboration to all other stakeholders, starting from the collectors and sorters, when you also want to gain secondary raw materials. And I think that's a key message, that we can do that together within such an ecosystem.
And this is why we call us a consultant manager. Please share your knowledge to our industry to make sure that we do it. Marc, different industry, different impact, and also a quite interesting business model solution provider, seeing Looper as a spin-off of Remondis, etc. So what can you transfer? Because when we had our prep call, and then it comes to you, Ruth, as well, for life cycle assessments, which is important for all of us to make sure that this is proven, please share your innovative business intelligence.
I mean, I will start with the beginning. So I think the best everyone can do right now, apart from buying more sustainable clothes, is bring them back to the retailer. Everything, the whole circle starts with collection. So something that is not collected can't be reused or recycled or repaired. And I think the collection rate in Europe at the moment is 40%. So 60% go from consumer directly to incineration or landfill, and that is, I think, about 5 million tons per year. So 5 million tons per year, textiles go directly to landfill or incineration without any chance of being reused or recycled. So a good collection scheme, and there the best we encountered so far in any material is take back by retailer, because you have the best chance to control the quality. You can keep the material pure, because to recycle it you need quality, you need purity of material. So collection, and then good collection, and then the next step is good requirements for the sorting afterwards, because as I said, the industry is old, but it has a lot of, let's say, gray area processes that developed over the decades. So a lot is not sorted in Europe, it's shipped to Dubai or Tunisia because it's cheaper, but then we have no chance to recycle the material afterwards because everything goes. So everything that is collected in Europe should stay in Europe. I think of the 1 million tons collected in Germany right now, less than 200,000 are sorted in Germany, so everything just goes, and then we have no chance of doing something. And then for the retailers or brands, the biggest promise we share at the moment, so we are investing a lot in transparency about garment end state, because I think a lot of retailers are afraid to start collecting because a lot is reuse, and reuse often goes to different parts of the world, and everyone is afraid that something happens that is bad in the media or for their own responsibility not good. So this is what we are doing, is getting visibility and transparency for second hand. And the second is sort textiles according to material, to fiber kinds, because you need to do that to actually recycle them. Every recycling now in textiles is downcycling, insulation material, wipers for the automotive industry. And to really recycle them, we have to fulfill new requirements, like 98% white cotton without LE-elastane. And at the moment, all textiles are sorted manually. And you have no chance that someone is able to feel if it's 90% or 95 or 98 or something. So we are investing a lot in sensor-based technology to be able to supply the recyclers. And our biggest problem at the moment is find spinners who are willing to test these fibers, because they need to change the machinery, and they are afraid that the retailers or the brands will not take the fibers because the quality is difficult. So it's a lot of insecurity, it's a lot of knowledge, and I think there's what we said a lot. We need collaboration, we need dialogue, we need knowledge exchange, and a few people who are not only willing to talk about it, but actually do something. I think that's the most important.
Yeah, and what you shared in the prep call, that's of course a question of investment.
Yeah, I mean it's a risk, but it's a risk someone needs to take because we need to go that way.
Practical question. All the associations we have here, not only in ISPO, but also in the various countries on outdoor industry, etc., there are a lot of working groups with a headline of circularity. Is there any recommendation? And of course, I'll ask you both the same question, and don't forget the life cycle assessment question, but maybe there's already a recommendation you can give to us.
I would recommend the same we do for ourselves. So Lupa is a joint venture by 2 big companies, but we have done little to no marketing because our strategy is do first, talk later. So for that recommendation would be talk less, do. So just start, collect.
So we need to leave, sorry.
Now, but if you don't start and don't test the material, you will never find out. You can sit in working groups for the next 5 years and nothing will happen. So I would say do a small pilot, start collecting, look at the textiles, sort them, see if they're recyclable. I think the best way is to start.
Anything to add?
Well, it's going very much in the same direction. I think the important thing is start. I also have really the belief that sustainability is not something far away, but sustainability is really based on the decisions we take every single day. And I think just starting to do things, small things, test out and fail and try to do it again is the most important thing. So I absolutely agree with what you said. That's also a little bit our approach at Oberalp. We try a lot of things and we sure fail also on different things. But I think the important thing is trying because you learn also. So I think that's the most important. So, and we also, by trying and failing, we also understood that data actually today are becoming so key for us because we are all discussing about these topics, but very often we do not really know about what we are discussing. So coming back also to life cycle assessment, that's why we really decide also to invest in a colleague that is really able to do life cycle assessments on our own products, to not do it with an external consultancy where you get some know-how, but you never dive that deep. And well, we really started to build our framework, and it's a lot of work, and I'm looking in that direction as my colleagues are there. It is a lot of work. It is really an effort also inside the company to convince people to ask for information, but we need a system where we bring all this data in and we can see then really where the hotspots are, where we need to improve, and go back to the product teams based with that information, because then it becomes concrete. And we will fail also in this life cycle assessment journey we're doing, because it will not be 100% complete from the first step. But I think it's important that we build, and that's really the way we are trying to do that. And really gather this knowledge across the whole company and the whole product development.
Seeing it over the last 6 to 8 months on all the shows and all the events which were happening across our sector, the data management, creative system management behind that is getting more and more important, as you maybe all know, and there are other panel discussions taking care for that. But in this sense, you already did your expertise on the data management compiled with eco-design. So this would be the last question now, before we come to your questions. What is your recommendation how to set up our companies and to set up personal skills to make that happen?
First, we need information for circular economy, otherwise we cannot do that. I think that's very important to understand, and I think there is still a lot to do, and also with regards to the future digital product passport that we will have in some years. I think we can already start to assess data and to see within the value chain how we can extract and get the right data. I think that's very important. And then also to combine it with end-of-life management and to combine it together, because at the end, everything, when we see that waste should become or shall become a resource for your products, then we need that combination, and therefore it needs also that digitalization within the companies.
Absolutely. So maybe changing short aside and from my personal knowledge, if we all stick together with the data management to really make sure that it's open source, it's over, that we do it on our own. Because if we do not share the knowledge we have on whether it's HIC index or other life cycle assessment roles, with all the associations really making a brilliant job for our sector, European Outdoor Group, for all our sectors, all the brilliant knowledge sharers, and the cooperators will not be. So a call to action. From your side, a call to action?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one?
I would say...
Spread the word, please.
I would say start collecting. It's the most important. Without collection, there is no reuse or recycling. Start working with the materials. Start getting experience with small test pilots. And it's something we can do tomorrow without big investments. It's just offer customers to bring garments back, and then they can be sorted and recycled and receive the
we just need to figure out where. So all together, that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, bring it back, but where? But the call to action, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Ruth.
Well, I think I already said it. Try out things. I think that's the most important thing. And build networks. I think, as was said in the beginning, nobody can do it alone. We need us all together. So I think building networks is the most important thing we all together need to do.
Yeah, last but not least, I would say name products and make circularity checks on the named products in your company, and see where are the gaps, and which expertise or knowledge do you meet or need to close that gap, and which partners do you need to go forward to make it circular.
And to make the story round, start with eco-design. That's it. That's where it all starts. So.